Chuck Knobloch, the 32-year-old four-time All-Star, native of Houston, Texas. Got the start in game one, went 1 for 4, and he begins game 2 with a line drive base hit right field. So just like that, Knobloch able to give him something out of a DH spot. It's only been a 133 average out of that position the first 4 games of the series. Now Derek Jeter, a .339 hitter during the regular season, 15 homers, 73 knocked in. They'll keep an eye on Knobloch, who stole 15 bases during the regular season. Jeter, a quiet series to some extent, at least compared to those in years past, where he has always been a phenomenal postseason performer. 3 hits, 15 at-bats, has knocked in 2 runs in the series. Shows bunt and takes up an in. 0-1. Heredia, 34 years old, a native of Nogales, Arizona, originally drafted by the Giants out of the University of Arizona. 2 years later was loaned to the Mexican League. 3 years later, claimed on waivers by Montreal, was there for 4 years, released by Texas, released by the Cubs. And again, Jeter shows bunt, and again it's called a ball, 2-0. But then the A's decided, after Matt Stairs had played with Heredia in the Mexican League 3 years ago, Stairs told Art Howe and general manager Billy Beane, hey, this guy can still pitch. Stairs and Heredia played together in Montreal. They signed him to a minor league deal. Won 13 games last year, 15 this year.
Heredia is not the type of pitcher that would immediately impress a scout. He doesn't throw overly hard. His breaking ball is not that crisp. He's a crafty veteran out there on the mound. We talked about his control will determine the length of his evening tonight.
3-1 to Jeter, still showing bunt. Do you think he means it?
Well, I think he probably did early in the count, but when Heredia started struggling with his control, I think that was just a bluff to try to get Heredia to throw another ball right there. Look for a possible hit and run right here. Knobloch runs very well at first base. We know Jeter handles the bat very well.
Runner is going, and it's taken ball 4 inside, and just like that, the 2-time defending champion World Series winners, the New York Yankees, 2 on with nobody out in the opening inning. Paul O'Neill, 2 hits and 14 at-bats in the series. He has bounced into 2 double plays in the series. Ball 1 away. O'Neill, a .283 hitter during the regular season, 18 home runs, 100 runs batted in. He has the first 2 on, nobody out. Corner to the east, 1 ball, 1 strike on Paul O'Neill. O'Neill in his career against Heredia, only 4 hits and 24 at-bats. That's a .167 batting average. Chopper off the plate. Tejada has to wait and has no throw. An infield hit for O'Neill, and the Yankees have the bases loaded with nobody out. 5 hits and 16 at-bats during the series, has 3 doubles. A .307 hitter during the regular season, 31 home runs, 121 runs batted in. Knobloch, Jeter, O'Neill aboard with none out.
A's defensively playing for the double play. The middle infielder is playing back, as is Jason Giambi over at first base. Only the third baseman, Eric Chavez, drawn in even with the baseline. The time you mentioned the Oakland Raiders playing this afternoon just across the bay. Of course, they play their home games here on this field, and it is a mess. A lot of patched areas on this field, a lot of areas where the temporary football bleachers come out onto the field to play. A lot of bad hops on this field right now.
0-1 to Bernie Williams. You saw the numbers in Williams' career, 9 grand slams. This season, 9 hits and 13 at-bats with the bases loaded. A .692 average with 2 grand slams. But outstanding numbers for Heredia in these situations.
Something's got to give.
Sooner or later. Good off-speed pitch there from the Oakland right-hander, 1-1.
You know, a common mistake that young pitchers make when they get into a jam, they try to throw harder. Gil Heredia taking a lot off here, a changeup fading down and away from Bernie Williams. Those veteran pitchers find a way to take advantage of the aggressiveness of a hitter in this particular situation.
Bases loaded, nobody out, 1-1 pitch. Lined into right field, caught by Pyatt. Tagging and scoring is Knobloch. A sac fly run batted in for Bernie Williams, and the Yankees have a 1-0 lead. 1 in, 2 on, 1 out for David Justice. .286 hitter during the season with Cleveland and the Yankees, a career high 41 home runs, 118 knocked in. 2 low, 2 balls and no strikes. Phenomenal numbers for David Justice after coming over for Ricky Leday and a pair of minor leaguers. In 78 games, he led the Yankees in both home runs and the 60 runs batted in. Dow told us before the game, more than likely, if Heredia ran into any trouble early on, they'd look for Kevin Appier to get warmed up. Strike called to Justice, 3-1.
Now, you just do not have the luxury to allow a pitcher to work through his problems in a Game 5 situation. The A's already trailing by a run here in the first inning. You just got to get into that bullpen early if necessary. You cannot allow the Yankees to build up a big lead.
3-1 to David Justice. And it's ball 4 low, and the Yankees have them loaded again. They're loaded for Tino Martinez. Strike 1. Martinez, 5 hits and 14 at-bats in the series with a run batted in. A down year overall for Tino. The 16 home runs and 91 runs batted in. Jeter, O'Neill, and Justice aboard in the New York first. One and one.
You know, Tom, that high base on balls total for Gil Heredia doesn't necessarily mean that he lost his control. If anything, maybe it means that his control is better than ever, and he's pitching around certain guys in the lineup, pitching to game situations, and willing to give up a base on balls if it means it sets up a better situation going after the next hitter.
Grounded foul, Heredia in front of Tino at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Now, good control doesn't necessarily mean you throw a strike on every pitch. It means you can throw every pitch wherever you want to. And sometimes that's out of the strike zone.
The Yankees trying to do to the A's on their home field what the A's did to the Yankees in the Bronx last night. Fly ball into right center field. Terrace long drifting. He can't get it. It's off the wall. Jeter scores. O'Neill being waved around. Here comes Bernie Williams. A 3-run double by Tino Martinez. And the Yankees in front 4-0.
You see Long battling that sun even as he looks in for the pitches.
Ball 1 low and away to Jorge Posada. As Tam continues to crank it up, and Andy Pettitte, a very long and enjoyable top half of the first inning. We'll go back down to the Yankee pen.
Now, this is one time a starting pitcher doesn't mind going to the bullpen to throw a few warm-up pitches when your team is having an extended first inning of the game.
A liner off of Heredia, and that'll be an infield hit by Posada. Now they're going to come out and take a look at Gil Heredia. A line drive right back to the box. Runners on the corners, 4 runs home here in the Yankee first inning. The 8th man to bat, Luis Sojo, has knocked in 4 runs in the series. And now he has more than that. Hit to straightaway center field, long back to get it. Tagging and scoring is Tino Martinez. It's Sojo, his 5th RBI of the series, and the Yankees lead 5-0. Brosius 1 for 13 in the series with a double, a run batted in. You see his numbers during the regular season. Lined into center field, a base hit for Brosius. Posada advancing on to second. That is the 5th hit in the inning by the Yankees.
Well, I think this is where this young A's ball club is really going to look to Jason Giambi on the field, also to their very calming influence of their manager, Art Howe. We were here just a couple of weeks ago, and we saw this A's ball club put 23 runs on the board. They know what they're capable of doing. But falling behind the defending world champions 5-0 in the first probably has them a little bit rattled right now.
That one nearly thrown by the pitcher, Tam, into center field.
Maybe some nerves on the part of Ramon Hernandez behind the plate. Even his throw back to the mound choked off and nearly thrown by Tam. He has to make a diving play. Tejada was right there to back it up. Should it have gotten by the Oakland pitcher? It's like the A's just need to take a big, deep breath.
Knobloch started what has been a 5-run first inning with a single in the right. This one into short right and falls in front of Pyatt, a base hit. Rounding third and scoring is Posada, and Knobloch inserted back into the Yankees starting lineup. His 2nd hit in the first inning. It is 6-0 New York. Wow. Now Jeter, who walked and scored in the inning, taking off and going to second. They'll throw through, and it's not in time. Give Knobloch the stolen base.
Hernandez had his problems throwing out runners this year, caught only 22% of the attempted base stealers. Knobloch was just an uninhibited jump over there at first base. Tam paying very little attention to him. The head first slide in well ahead of any attempted tag.
That's the first stolen base of the series for the Yankees. Runners at second and third for Jeter. And a fly ball in the right center field. Pyatt waits, and the inning is over. But the Yankees, very much resembling the Bronx Bombers of the last 2 seasons, jump in front, 6-0.